So now we're looking at dimensioning in AutoCAD. In the drafting and annotation workspace, our ribbon for annotate is where we find the dimensions. So this is the panel that we're looking at now for dimensions. Now we'll just draw a few little bits and pieces that we can dimension. First of all, I'll just do a rectangle here, a couple of circles, and let's draw something that's got a bit of an angle on it as well. Okay, so back to annotate, and our dimension styles are all in this pull down here: linear, aligned, angular, arc, and so on. So first of all, linear is the most common that we would be using. We have to always be careful that we're snapping onto a point on our object, so usually make sure O-snap is on, and of course it's doing all of the dimensioning. Now when we place the dimension, you'll notice that it's really tiny because my scale, obviously the drawing that I've done, is huge in comparison to the size of the writing. Now there's a quick way to fix that just as a quick workaround. If we, on the panel, if we click the right arrow here, it gives us the dimension style manager. The styles that we get for free when we start a new drawing: ISO 25, standard, and annotative, which we'll talk about in a minute. But just to quickly get this looking good, if we go into modify this style, and if we go to the fit tab, there's a place we can put an overall scale factor in here. So let's see what it looks like if we go to, say, 10 times the size, and OK that, and close that. That's bumped it up quite a bit. The beauty of doing it that way is that it will increase the size of the text and the arrows, the extension of the extension lines, the gap to the job, so everything gets increased all at once. I'll just bump that up a little bit higher, so let's make it 20. Close that so we can see what we're doing. Alright, so that's a linear dimension. If we want to do one in a horizontal direction, same thing. Pick the points, place the dimension. Now, two types of dimensions that we need to know about. If we, before we go into baseline and continuing dimensions, let's look at the others as well. The next one, aligned. So if we want it to come out parallel to the line that we're dimensioning, as opposed to linear, which will just go purely in the X and Y direction, like so. So that's aligned. And angular. With angular, we would pick two lines at an angle, and it's now giving us the angle between those two lines, and we can move to any of the other positions to get the other related angles. By default it's in degrees. Let's do the radius of this circle. Normally if it's a complete circle you do it as a diameter, but you can do it as a radius, as you can see here by selecting radius, and the other option is to do it as a diameter, and it produces the symbol for diameter for us automatically. It's most common to use diameter, but if you have an arc then you would normally do that with a radius.